Success isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you build, brick by brick, day by day. Some people look at successful individuals and think they just got lucky. No. Success leaves clues, and if you want to be great, you've got to recognize the signs. You've got to study the habits, the mindset, the discipline of those who have already made it. Today, I'm about to give you 7 undeniable signs of successful people, 7 traits that separate the elite from the average. So, if you're serious about winning, if you're ready to take your life to the next level, then lock in, take notes, and let's get to work. Success isn't about luck. It's about outworking every single person in the room. The ones who make it to the top aren't necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They are the ones who refuse to be outworked. They wake up earlier, they stay up later, and they push through when everyone else quits. It's not about being the best, it's about being the hardest worker in the room. Every single day, there's a difference between wanting success and being willing to do what it takes to achieve it. A lot of people say they want to be great, they want to be successful, they want to live their dreams, but when it comes time to put in the work, they hesitate. They let distractions take over. They make excuses, they look for shortcuts. But the ones who truly succeed are the ones who show up, day in and day out, no matter what. They don't need motivation. They are driven by something deeper and unstoppable. Desire to win. It's easy to say you want success when things are going well. But what happens when you're tired? What happens when no one is watching? What happens when the results aren't showing up as fast as you expected? That's when relentless work ethic separates the elite from the average. The great ones keep grinding, keep pushing, keep showing up even when they don't feel like it. They understand that discipline and consistency are the real keys to success, not just talent or intelligence. Some people work hard only when they feel inspired. But inspiration is temporary. It comes and goes. The ones who win don't rely on inspiration. They have trained themselves to work, whether they feel like it or not. They don't make decisions based on emotions. They make decisions based on commitment. They have built a mindset where working hard is not an option, it's the only way. They know how to operate. Every successful person has a moment in their life when they had to decide whether to keep going or quit. That's the moment that defines them. The ones who push through, who refuse to settle, who keep grinding despite setbacks, are the ones who break through. They understand that success is not about being the most skilled, but about being the most relentless. They are willing to wake up at 4 a.m. if that's what it takes. They are willing to work late into the night, to sacrifice weekends, to put in the extra hours when others are sleeping, partying, or making excuses. They know that hard work compounds over time. Every hour they put in, every extra rep, every late night session, it all adds up. It builds momentum. And while others are looking for quick success, these people are stacking bricks, building something unshakable. The results may not come overnight, but they trust the process. They know that the grind will eventually pay off, and when it does, they won't just be successful, they'll be unstoppable. Discipline is the foundation of all success. It is the ability to show up, stay focused, and do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Successful people don't rely on motivation because they know motivation is temporary. They don't wait until they feel inspired to take action. They create habits that keep them moving forward regardless of how they feel. While most people operate based on emotions, Successful people operate based on commitment. They do what is necessary, not just what is convenient. The difference between an average person and a successful one is not talent or luck, it's the ability to stay disciplined when others lose focus. It's easy to be excited about a goal in the beginning. It's easy to start strong when everything is new and exciting. But what happens when the excitement fades? What happens when the results don't come immediately? This is where most people give up. They lose interest, they get distracted, they start making excuses, but the disciplined ones push through. They don't let distractions take them off course. They don't let temporary discomfort dictate their actions. Successful people have trained themselves to win the battle of the mind. They don't negotiate with themselves. When the alarm clock rings, they don't hit snooze. When it's time to work, they don't make excuses. They don't wait for the perfect moment because they know there is no such thing. They have eliminated the habit of procrastination because they understand that every delay is a step further from their goal. They have trained their minds to override feelings of laziness, doubt, and fear. Discipline is about consistency. It's about doing the work every single day, not just when it's easy. The ones who succeed are the ones who show up regardless of the circumstances. They don't allow external factors to control their effort. Whether it's raining or shining, whether they feel good or tired, whether they are motivated or not, they do what needs to be done. They don't let setbacks throw them off track. If they experience failure, they learn from it and keep moving. If they don't see immediate progress, they trust the process and continue to put in the work. They have routines that structure their day. They don't waste time scrolling through distractions. They don't let social media, television, or meaningless activities consume their focus. Every minute of their day has a purpose. They have a plan, and they execute it. They set priorities, and they stick to them. They don't allow themselves to get lost in temporary pleasures that do nothing to push them forward. They know that every time they give in to distraction, they are robbing themselves of their future success. The ability to delay gratification is another key component of discipline. Successful people understand that the rewards of hard work don't come immediately. They are willing to sacrifice temporary pleasure for long-term success. While others are seeking quick fixes, easy wins, and instant gratification, they are putting in the work behind the scenes. They are building something real, something that will last. They are not looking for shortcuts because they know that true success is earned, not given. When others get tired and quit, they keep going. When others lose interest, they remain locked in. When others start making excuses, they push even harder. They don't need external motivation because they have an internal drive. They don't need someone to push them because they have trained themselves to push through, no matter what. Discipline is not something they practice occasionally, it is a way of life. Successful people don't just wake up and hope for the best. They have a clear vision of where they are going and what they want to achieve. They don't live life aimlessly, moving from one thing to another without direction. They know exactly what they want, and because of that clarity, every decision they make aligns with their ultimate goal. They don't get easily distracted because they have a strong sense of purpose guiding them. They don't let other people's opinions or temporary setbacks shake them because their vision is bigger than any obstacle. Most people fail because they lack direction. They say they want success, but when you ask them exactly what success looks like for them, they can't define it. They don't have a clear target, And when there is no target, there is no focus. They jump from one thing to another, chasing whatever looks exciting at the moment, but they never commit long enough to see real results. Successful people operate differently. They have a specific goal, and they break it down into actionable steps. They don't just dream, they strategize, plan, and execute. A strong vision gives successful people the ability to stay locked in, even when things get difficult. They don't let temporary pain or struggles throw them off course. They know that setbacks are just part of the journey, and because they have a clear destination in mind, they are willing to endure whatever it takes to get there. They are not controlled by emotions or circumstances. They have already decided where they are going, and nothing is going to stop them. Having clear goals is what allows successful people to wake up with purpose every day. They don't need someone to tell them to get to work because they already know what they need to do. They set specific, measurable, and time-bound goals, and they hold themselves accountable for reaching them. They don't just say, "I want to be successful." They say, "I want to build a 7-figure business in 3 years," or "I want to be the best in my field by mastering my craft through daily practice." Their goals are not vague. They are detailed, specific, and backed by a strong reason why. That clarity of vision also helps successful people eliminate distractions. They don't waste time on things that don't align with their goals. They don't say yes to every opportunity just because it sounds good. They know what is important and what isn't. If something doesn't move them closer to their vision, they cut it out. They have mastered the art of focus. While others get caught up in entertainment, gossip, or mindless scrolling, they are locked in on their mission. They don't have time for distractions because they are too busy building their future. They also understand the importance of adjusting their strategy while keeping their vision intact. If something isn't working, they don't give up, they simply adapt. They are flexible in their approach, but firm in their destination. They analyze, they learn, and they make the necessary changes, but they never lose sight of their ultimate goal. Their vision is the anchor that keeps them grounded no matter what happens. The reason successful people achieve their goals is that they have already seen themselves accomplishing them in their minds long before they happen. They visualize success, they see the results before they manifest, and they believe in their ability to make it happen. Their vision is so strong that it pulls them forward, even on the days when they don't feel like working. They don't just set goals, they embody them. Every action they take, every decision they make, is a reflection of their commitment to that vision. Successful people are not immune to failure, setbacks, or adversity. In fact, they often face more obstacles than the average person because they are constantly pushing their limits. The difference is that they don't let failure define them. They don't let challenges break them. They don't let setbacks make them quit. Instead, they use every difficulty as a stepping stone to come back stronger. Resilience and grit are what separate those who achieve greatness from those who give up at the first sign of struggle. Most people let failure stop them. They take one loss and decide it wasn't meant to be. They hit one roadblock and think it's a sign to quit. They start something, encounter difficulty, and immediately begin questioning whether they should even continue. Successful people think differently. They expect challenges. They know the road to success is never smooth. When they fall, they get back up. When they hit a wall, they find a way over, around, or through it. They refuse to be defeated. Resilience is the ability to keep moving forward no matter what. It's about having the mental toughness to endure rejection, criticism, and failure without losing focus. The most successful people in the world have failed more times than most people have even tried. They don't fear failure, they embrace it as part of the journey. Every failure teaches them something. Every setback builds their character. Every obstacle makes them stronger. They understand that success is not about never failing, it's about never quitting. Grit is about long-term perseverance. It's not just about working hard for a day, a week, or a month. It's about staying committed for years, even when the progress is slow, even when no one believes in them, even when they feel like nothing is working. It's about pushing through exhaustion, frustration, and self-doubt because they know their goal is worth it. They have an inner fire that keeps them going, no matter how difficult things get. They don't rely on outside encouragement. They create their own motivation from within. When others complain about how hard things are, successful people embrace the struggle. They know that pain is part of the process. They understand that growth only happens outside of their comfort zone. They willingly put themselves in difficult situations, knowing that every challenge they overcome makes them stronger. They don't look for easy routes or shortcuts. They choose the path of most resistance because they know that's where true growth happens. Every time they face a setback, they ask themselves, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of wasting time feeling sorry for themselves, they analyze the situation, adjust their approach, and move forward with more wisdom. They don't dwell on their failures. They don't allow negative thoughts to consume them. They reframe their struggles as opportunities to improve. And they keep pushing forward with even more determination. They also understand that resilience is built through daily habits. They don't wait until adversity strikes to develop mental toughness. They build it through discipline, through showing up every day, through pushing themselves past their limits even when things are going well. They train themselves to handle pressure so that when real challenges come, they are already prepared. The people who achieve greatness in any field are the ones who refuse to break, no matter how many times they fall. They don't wait for circumstances to be perfect. They don't hope for an easy ride. They face every difficulty head-on and push through, knowing that every hardship they overcome brings them one step closer to success. Successful people never stop learning. They are obsessed with growth, constantly seeking ways to improve, expand their knowledge, and sharpen their skills. They don't settle for what they already know because they understand that the world is always evolving, and if they don't keep learning, they will be left behind. They read books, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, and surround themselves with people who challenge them to grow. They are lifelong students, always hungry for new information that will help them reach the next level. Most people stop learning after they finish school. They believe education ends with a diploma or degree. But successful people know that real learning starts when formal education ends. They take responsibility for their own development, knowing that growth is not something that happens by accident. It's something they must actively pursue. They are intentional about gaining new knowledge, whether it's through self-education, mentorship, or real-world experience. They don't just absorb information passively. They apply what they learn, testing new strategies and refining their approach as they go. One of the biggest differences between successful and unsuccessful people is how they view failure. Unsuccessful people see failure as the end, while successful people see it as a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to learn. Instead of being discouraged, they analyze what went wrong, make adjustments, and try again with a better strategy. They embrace mistakes as part of the process, knowing that each failure brings them closer to success. They don't dwell on what didn't work. They focus on how they can improve. They also understand that learning isn't just about acquiring knowledge, it's about developing the right mindset. They work on their mental growth just as much as their skill set. They read books on mindset, personal development, and leadership. They train their minds to think bigger, to embrace challenges, and to remain positive even in difficult situations. They know that their thoughts shape their actions, so they fill their minds with ideas that push them forward. Surrounding themselves with the right people and other ways, successful individuals accelerate their growth. They seek out mentors, coaches, and experts who have already achieved what they are striving for. They don't try to figure everything out on their own. They learn from those who have already walked the path. They ask questions, seek feedback, and implement advice that helps them avoid unnecessary mistakes. They are not afraid to admit what they don't know because they understand that growth comes from humility. While others waste time on distractions, successful people invest their time in learning and self-improvement. They don't spend hours scrolling through social media or binge watching shows that add no value to their lives. They use their time wisely, filling it with activities that contribute to their goals. They turn their cars into classrooms by listening to audiobooks and podcasts. They make personal development a daily habit, knowing that small improvements over time lead to massive results. They are also willing to challenge their own beliefs. They don't hold on to outdated ideas just because they are comfortable. If they find a better way of thinking or doing something, they adapt. They don't let ego get in the way of learning. They remain open-minded, always willing to change their approach if it means better results. They don't resist new information, they embrace it, constantly evolving and improving. Continuous learning and growth give successful people an edge over the competition. While others remain stagnant, they keep expanding their knowledge, sharpening their skills, and finding new ways to improve. They understand that the moment they stop learning is the moment they stop growing, and they refuse to let that happen. They are committed to becoming better every single day, knowing that true success is not about reaching a destination, but about constantly leveling up. Successful people take full responsibility for their lives. They don't make excuses, they don't blame others, and they don't wait for someone else to change their circumstances. They understand that everything they achieve or fail to achieve is a direct result of their own actions, decisions, and mindset. They don't look to external factors as the reason for their success or failure. They take complete ownership of their journey. They know that the moment they start blaming something outside of themselves, they give away their power to change their situation. Most people spend their lives making excuses. They blame the economy, their upbringing, their boss, their lack of resources, or bad luck. They look for reasons why they can't succeed instead of focusing on what they can do to move forward. Successful people think differently. When something goes wrong, they don't waste time complaining. They analyze the situation, figure out what they could have done differently, and take action to improve. They don't see themselves as victims of circumstances. They see themselves as the creators of their future. Taking extreme accountability means being honest with yourself. It means looking in the mirror and admitting when you have fallen short. It means acknowledging your mistakes without making excuses. Most people avoid this level of self-reflection because it's uncomfortable. It's easier to blame something external than to admit that you could have done better. But successful people don't run from the truth. They embrace it. They understand that the only way to grow is to take responsibility for everything in their life, both the good and the bad. They also apply this mindset to their daily habits. They don't wait for the perfect moment to take action. They don't depend on someone else to motivate them. They know that their results are in their hands, so they hold themselves accountable every single day. If they say they are going to wake up early and work, they do it. If they set a goal, they follow through. If they make a commitment, they honor it. They don't rely on external pressure to keep them disciplined. They create their own accountability system. When they experience failure, they don't look for someone to blame. They don't say, "It wasn't my fault." They ask, "What could I have done differently?" They take ownership of the outcome, even if it wasn't entirely in their control. This allows them to learn, adjust, and improve instead of repeating the same mistakes. They don't waste energy being bitter or resentful. They use failure as fuel to get better. They see every setback as a lesson that will help them grow stronger and wiser. Another key aspect of extreme accountability is refusing to wait for permission. Many people hesitate to take action because they are waiting for someone else to give them approval. Successful people don't wait, they take initiative. If they want to start a business, they don't wait for the right time, they make it happen. If they want to get in shape, they don't wait for the perfect workout plan, they start training today. They don't wait for circumstances to align in their favor. They create the circumstances they need to succeed. They also hold themselves to higher standards. They don't just do the bare minimum. They don't cut corners. They expect excellence from themselves in everything they do. They set goals, create a plan, and execute with full effort. If they fall short, they don't make excuses, they work harder. They don't need someone to tell them to put in the work because they have already made the decision to be great. They understand that accountability is not a one-time decision, it is a way of life. Successful people don't wait for the perfect moment, they take action. They don't spend endless time overanalyzing, hesitating, or waiting for all conditions to be right before they move. They understand that success is built through execution, not just ideas or intentions. While most people get stuck in the planning phase, waiting for more confidence, more knowledge, or more resources, successful individuals take massive action with whatever they have. They know that progress is made by doing, not by thinking about doing. Most people delay their dreams because they are afraid of failure. They wait until they feel completely ready, but the truth is, no one ever feels 100% ready. If you wait for the right time, you'll be waiting forever. Successful people understand this, which is why they start before they feel fully prepared. They know that taking action, even if it's imperfect, is better than standing still. They don't waste time overthinking. They focus on execution, learning along the way, and adjusting as needed. Taking massive action means being relentless in pursuit of your goals. It's not about taking one step and then stopping when things get tough. It's about maintaining momentum, pushing forward despite uncertainty, and refusing to slow down when obstacles appear. Most people get excited at the beginning of a journey, but lose motivation when the hard work begins. Successful people push through that phase. They keep going even when they don't see immediate results. They understand that consistent, persistent action is what separates the winners from the quitters. They don't wait for permission or validation from others. Many people hold back because they are afraid of what others will think. They seek approval, afraid to take risks unless someone else assures them that it's a good idea. Successful individuals don't need that reassurance. They trust themselves, make decisions, and act with confidence. They know that not everyone will support their vision, and that's okay. They focus on their mission instead of seeking approval. One of the biggest differences between those who succeed and those who don't is speed of implementation. When successful people get an idea, they don't sit on it for weeks or months, they move on it immediately. They know that waiting too long can kill momentum. If they see an opportunity, they take it. If they need to make adjustments, they do it along the way. They don't waste time trying to make everything perfect before they start. They understand that success is a process of learning, refining, and improving as they go. They also understand the power of consistent, small actions. While many people think success comes from one big breakthrough, successful people know it's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when no one is watching. They don't rely on motivation because they know motivation is temporary. They create habits that keep them moving forward. They take daily steps toward their goals, knowing that over time, those small actions compound into massive success. They take risks. Playing it safe never leads to extraordinary success. While others are afraid of stepping outside their comfort zones, successful people embrace discomfort. They know that every great achievement requires stepping into the unknown, taking calculated risks, and being willing to fail. They are not reckless, but they are bold. They don't let fear hold them back because they understand that fear is just a sign that they are growing. They don't make excuses. If something isn't working, they don't sit around complaining about it, they take action to fix it. They don't blame external circumstances or wait for things to change. If they need to develop a new skill, they start learning today. If they need to build connections, they start reaching out now. They don't waste time dwelling on what they don't have, they maximize what they do have.